all know how great Anthony Davis is.
We're two guys who are very selfless and just want to win.
I put those two guys against anybody in the league.
Get your life together, Max. What's going on, everybody? Welcome into First Take on this Friday Eve. Max is a little bit of a hot mess, but hope you also work through it. How you doing this morning?
I'm doing
Temperature's
well, Molly.
good.
How are you?
Did you get your coffee on time?
I did.
Anything you need out of your office, or you're good?
I know you're not painting me as the person.
Please. Stephen A., what's going on?
What's going on, y'all? Good morning. How y'all doing?
We're good. We're good. All right, let's get into it. Next Tuesday, we'll be in the City of Angels for the season opener for LA Supremacy. But last night, we got a little teaser of the Lake Show as they crushed the Warriors 126-93. I'm sure the King was happy to be back on the court after all the China controversy. He put up 18 points, 11 assists in 25 minutes. His superstar partner in crime, Anthony Davis, 8 points, 10 rebounds, 8 assists in 28 minutes. Stephen A. Smith, tell me this. How much does AD need LeBron to become a Laker great?
Well, listen, you're going to need LeBron to some degree because LeBron's going to be the one handling the ball. He's the best passer in basketball if we're really being honest about it. So we've got to take it that into consideration. But, when we talk about Anthony Davis in terms of an all-time great Laker, let's take into account Laker lore. Let's think about Irvin Magic Johnson. Let's think about Kobe Bryant. Let's think about the most dominant force of our lifetime in Shaquille O'Neal. Let's think about one of the greatest champions that we've ever seen and the leading scorer in the history of basketball. That's Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. They were all Lakers. And so when we talk about Anthony Davis, make no mistake, he's one of the top 5 players on the planet. He's a superstar. I think that him and LeBron James are the best duo in basketball. But when we talk about Anthony Davis needing LeBron or anybody else to become a Lakers great, well, you could make the argument he's already a Lakers great because he's great and he's a Laker. But if you're trying to compare him to some of the all-timers, Anthony Davis, no matter how great he is, he ain't going to eclipse at least 2 or 3 of those brothers that I mentioned.
Anthony Davis needs LeBron James to become a Laker great because, unlike any other franchise, on the Lakers, you must win a championship. And do you know why you must win a championship? Because you can't go back-to-back without the first one. And you know why you got to go back-to-back? Because with no back-to-back, there's no three-peat, a term Pat Riley coined for the Lakers, although his Lakers never won 3 in a row. They won 5 altogether. Later on, Shaq and Kobe did, and then Kobe very nearly did it again. Look, Charles Barkley and many others are pointed to as examples of great players and why there's a whole contingent of people out there, and this is like a flashpoint for this kind of debate in sports, especially in the NBA. Do you need a championship to somehow legitimize yourself as a great player, as among the greatest ever? And for many franchises, you don't. You compete. It just didn't work out. That's not the Lakers. It's just not the Lakers. Stephen A., the Mount Rushmore of the Lakers, that's an exercise in editing. On a lot of franchises, like the Clippers, if you talked about a Mount Rushmore, you'd be like, how do we get 4 guys up on there? With the Lakers, it's like, who do you leave off of this thing? Because Kareem, Magic, Kobe, and Shaq, maybe? How do you leave Jerry West, the logo, off, who did what he did as a player and then as an executive? How do you leave Wilt Chamberlain off, maybe the most dominant force of all time? Forget about guys like James Worthy and Pau Gasol, who are Hall of Fame caliber players, right? It is impossible with the Lakers. And why are some guys on and some guys off? Stephen A., Wilt and Jerry West didn't win enough championships. That's why they're not on as players. The Lakers' Mount Rushmore, to be called a Laker great is not simply to be a great player who also happened to play on the Lakers. It's to win championships in L.A., and AD, as great as he is, has never sniffed it. Not that he was part of a great organization, but he's never sniffed it. He needs LeBron, a champion who knows how to get it done, a guy still operating on a very high level where they can be crime partners to become champions. And if Anthony Davis wins championships, at least one, but multiple championships in LA, then he is a Laker great, and he'll start making his case for the Lakers' Mount Rushmore.
You're not wrong, but as usual, you're incomplete. Because if Anthony Davis needs LeBron James because of the things that you just mentioned, then LeBron James needs Anthony Davis for the same reason. Because we're not talking about all-time great. We're talking about Lakers great. You're talking about right now a 3-time champion who has been to 9 NBA Finals. He's not even in the discussion on the Mount Rushmore of Lakers lore because LeBron James 1 year in L.A., he didn't even make the playoffs. And so the fact of the matter is that they need each other for the same exact reasons. We can't put that on Anthony Davis like, oh, he needs LeBron. LeBron needs him desperately too. Not to mention the fact that LeBron's time is running out. His basketball mortality is going to come to an end much sooner than later compared to Anthony Davis simply by age, attrition, and dust on a birth certificate. So what it comes down to is you look at LeBron James, you could say the same thing about him that you're saying about Anthony Davis, but when you talk about Anthony Davis, his level of greatness as a talent is comparable to anybody. You're right in terms of what he needs to accomplish, and obviously being on the court with LeBron James is going to provide the assistance that's needed. But I don't think there's a shot that LeBron and Anthony Davis ends up in Lakers lore to that degree. Because when you talk about Kobe, when you talk about Shaq, when you talk about Magic, when you talk about Kareem, you're talking about at least 3 championships in a Lakers uniform. I mean, you could compare them to Jerry West, the silhouette, who's got 1, Wilt Chamberlain, who had 1 with them. You can do that. But when you talk about those other 4 guys that I mentioned, excuse me, I don't know how you get to that discussion without a minimum of 2 to 3 championships in a Lakers uniform.
By the way, it's going to be tough. And the question was not who needs who more. That's a separate question. The question is, does AD need LeBron to be a Lakers great? And I'm saying right now he does. If you want to expand the discussion and say who needs who more, I think you could legit argue that LeBron needs AD more as a Laker, right? But then step back even from that. LeBron's place in history is secure. He's one of the greatest players ever. He's like nipping at Michael Jordan's heels. It doesn't get better than that unless you're Jordan himself. So his legacy is secure, much like Wilt Chamberlain before he came to the Lakers. Now, he did wind up winning a chip, but even had Wilt not won in L.A., he's still one of the greatest players ever. AD, on the other hand, consider this, Stephen A. AD, as a package, best power forward of all time, but he's never going to pass Tim Duncan if he's sitting on 0 chips. Tim Duncan's got 5. And by the way, AD's career could overlap with another great Laker. In other words, LeBron could be the first half of his Laker career. He could attract another superstar for the second half and keep winning chips if indeed he gets to that level.
Far be it for me to say this to you, but you are talking too much and you are bypassing the headline, the big headline here. You just said something that's very, very important to discuss. LeBron James, legacy secure. Not so fast. Yes, you're a 3-time champion in 9 NBA Finals appearances. But if what Max has predicted happens, that might tarnish his legacy. If Kawhi Leonard rolls up in L.A. and wreaks havoc and bust LeBron's butt in the process of going to another championship and a 3rd NBA Finals MVP like you stated, I'm sorry. LeBron, that legacy you just brought up, that's a big compromise. Now, let's be clear. I'm not predicting that. I'm predicting LeBron will win the MVP. He will win the title. He will wreck shop and remind the world that he is the best on the planet, with the exception of KD, of course. But if Kawhi get the better of him, that's a problem.
No, it's not. LeBron has played more minutes than anyone who ever lived who's still an elite player, including Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. And if toward the end of Kareem's career, some inferior center got the better of him because he was ancient, that did not count against Kareem. And LeBron James, at this age, having played this many minutes, this many titles, the whole thing, Olympics, everything, if the best player in the game, Kawhi Leonard, gets the better of him in the Western Conference Finals at LeBron's age, that does not tarnish his legacy one bit.
Okay,
in fact,
guys.
it would add to it if LeBron played.
All right, the Battle of LA. Yep.
This is the part that you're missing, Max. You're right. If LeBron lets us know his age and he looks that way at the beginning, but if he's balling and he's an MVP and he's wreaking havoc all season long, but then runs into Kawhi
Going to be Lakers, Clippers. First Take will cover all of it. We'll dive much more into this. But I have a little news for you. We were talking about Bradley Beal yesterday with Wale, one of the top free agents for next year off the market. We had a Woj bomb. Adrian Wojnarowski tweeting this morning that Bradley Beal is agreeing to a 2-year, $72 million extension with the Wizards. Stephen A., your thoughts on the Beal extension?
My condolences. I'm incredibly sad for him. He deserves every penny. He's a star. He's underappreciated. He's one of the best guys you'll ever meet in the league. And I'm wishing Tommy Shepard nothing but the best of luck. But he is literally all the nation's capital has when it comes to basketball. John Wall is hurt, not expected to be available this year. Bradley Beal is going to be a part of an absolutely awful roster. My condolences to him and all those Wizards fans that are coming to watch them this year. I do wish them luck, by the way.
I know what you mean, Stephen A. It's like, what are you doing wasting your prime? On the other hand, you have to tip your cap. Remember when I said Zion shouldn't play the equipment? He said, no, I want to play. Good. You do what's in your heart, right? Damian Lillard. I'm not trying to go join anyone. I want to stay right here in Portland and bring it. And if he never wins a championship, that doesn't count against him for staying and trying, even though they don't have the squad that some of the other teams do. And here Bradley Beal is doing the same thing. This shows a lot of heart. Whether or not it's wise by how you or I or someone else thinks is one thing. But if it makes him happy, I tip my cap. He's trying to get it done in D.C. instead of turning tail and running somewhere else and joining a team. My hat's off to him.
All right. Got to leave it there.
I applaud him. I'm just feeling sorry for him because they're going to stink.
They're going to be terrible.
Okay. At least they got the Nationals. It's been an up and down year for the Eagles this season, so is it fair to put Carson Wentz in the conversation for league MVP? That coming up in just a bit. It's First Take, and we are just getting started.